Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll just take another minute or two and then we'll get started. Thanks again for taking time to join the session and thank you for all the support for the event. Uh, Me and my team look forward to hosting you all very soon.
I think we can get started, coach. We have 35 people in attendance.
Great. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. It's an AMA session as a race preparatory session. We're doing this to answer any questions you may have. Thanks once again to our key presenting sponsor, Herbalife24. That's the nutrition partner which you will see on the course. So 2 weeks to go. Happy to start answering any questions and would like to take another opportunity on behalf of my team to thank you for supporting us all the time. And we'll see you all on the course and at the start line and at the finish line very soon. But happy to take your questions. If you have any questions, please put them on the chat side of things, and my team, along with Neil, who will be moderating the session, will pick that up and get started. While we sort of collect those sessions, I'll maybe take a minute or two just to explain a few high-level things, given it's 2 weeks to go. So to start with, I think all of you have put in a lot of effort getting to this stage. Just make sure that you focus on taking care of yourself, resting well, not trying to make up for any missed training sessions, right? So don't try to overdo anything. If you're being self-trained or being coached by somebody, look, all the things, follow whatever you can. Don't try to overdo anything. I think all the hard work's been done, all the fitness levels which you wanted to achieve are there. You can only maintain them and just fine tune a few things. In terms of your equipment, bike, accessories, nutrition, and things, just make sure you're fine tuning it and checking it as opposed to trying something completely new. This is not the time to be buying a new bike or completely new set of accessories and trying things. The same goes to nutrition. All of your um, longer training sessions have happened, or there might be one more in the next couple of days in some areas of swim, bike, or run. So, whatever nutrition you've been trying, please follow the same and start building a bit of a routine on what you would do on pre race day and race day mornings. And once again, please do not try anything different than what has worked for you every other Sunday or whenever you've done your long training session, right? 27th of October is one more long session, well taken care of in terms of course and support for you with a nice little reward at the end of it. It's a long day, it's a hard day, but it shouldn't be any different than any of your other training sessions in terms of what you eat before your training session, what you eat during your training, and how you stay focused on it. Just want to make sure, if there is one or two key takeaways, definitely that needs to be one from this session. Please take care of that. Um, the swim course, bike course, run course, maps are out there. The course is out there. If you're coming over to Goa anytime sooner than Thursday or a Friday, it's nice to check out those courses. But if you're getting into the water, please make sure you have some support out there. If you're looking to ride, please stay safe on the road out there. And very close to race day, please don't try to cycle the entire 45 one lapper or even two lappers and things like that. Not necessary. You can always take a cab or rent a car and find out what things are if you want to get comfortable. I'll just pause to see, Neil, anything more for us to sort of touch upon high level, or we can start going into any specific questions they may have.
I think we can could jump into the questions. One of the questions that one athlete has asked is, it's currently raining in Goa. What if it rains on the race day?
It rains on the race day, it rains on the race day. To be very honest, nothing changes, but please make sure you take care of yourself, specifically on the cycling course, when it comes to the road being slippery. And the cycling course does have a few technical sections coming down and slight turns. Make sure you're absolutely slowing down. The brakes are going to be less effective when the road is damp and in general there's water, right? So please take care of that. And so that's important. Even on the run, just make sure you're paying attention to where you're stepping in. On the swim portion of it, there is enough water safety out there. Definitely visibility across the day changes a bit when it starts raining. So just make sure of those areas. Nothing much changes. Just make sure you take care of yourself. Slow down. Don't try to gain 30 seconds, 1 minute here and there in some portion of the bike course and come off the bike and pretty much your day ends there. So pay attention to that and also pay attention to people around you. Nothing else comes to my mind in terms of nothing changes. The race still happens, the race starts, unless the weather becomes extremely different and we need to take certain changes to the course or things. You will obviously be told about it, but otherwise, nothing changes. Please take care of it and stay safe.
Yeah. Yeah, although I mean, like it might, the swim might get cancelled. I think that's the question. Sort of is also headed or being asked because of that reason. If the sea
So,
becomes rough, it becomes a disaster
absolutely.
in certain cases. But that's a call that can be taken only on the race morning, looking at how the weather is looking like. Yeah.
That's correct. So yeah, if the race, especially the swim, gets a lot more affected if the sea is rough and overnight how it behaves. If that comes up, then obviously that's something which you will be informed of. And there are protocols established there. There is backups established there. There is an alternate thing established there, which we will let you know. But for now, if it's a certain amount of rain and it's still safe for the swim to happen and the cycling to happen and the run to happen, pay attention, take care of yourself.
Yeah. Rahul Bansal is asking, what's the carb content of the on-course nutrition? Do you recommend taking salt tablets during the race?
The I'll come to the salt tablets part subsequently. To start with, yeah. First of all, quite a few of these questions I'm gonna also direct you to a little bit on what's going to be there on the athlete information guide, which should reach your inbox, latest by tomorrow morning. In which very detailed, not only course maps, but what nutrition, where are the aid stations, what will be on the aid stations, what brand, what flavor, everything will be there. I won't necessarily go through all of it now, but there are at all points in the race, be it during the race start, in transition, on the bike course, on the run course, aid station wise, there is water, there is electrolytes, there's gels, there's bars, and there's fruits. And there will also be Red Bull on the run section. And the number of times you will have access to it in case of run course and bike course are obviously as many times as the laps are. So you will have electrolytes. In terms of salt tablets, again, I can't say it's a personal choice. It's something which you should have trained with. So definitely take water, take electrolytes, and if you have an opportunity of carrying only one bidon or a water bottle uh, in the cycling one, maybe carry electrolytes instead of water. And But make sure you're getting enough electrolytes through the day. Coming to salt tablets, if you've trained with it, obviously you know what to do, how many to take. I don't think this is the forum for me to advise take one every X minutes because
Yeah.
everybody is different. It is to supplement in case the salt and the electrolytes is not enough. Let me put it that way. So it does depend upon certain things. But please make sure you take care of all the things which are on course and don't start your cycling leg with empty things, right? Carrying whatever it is, the gels and the bars, in addition to waiting for the first aid station. And the same comes to water and electrolytes. Start with something. Whether if you're carrying 2 bottles or 3 bottles, just make sure they're already full. Don't expect to take the first sip of things in the first aid station, which would be kilometers away. What's next, Neil? Utkarsh, I think Neil dropped out.
Yeah, I don't know why I got kicked out for some reason.
No
Can you hear me?
problem. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, back on.
Yeah. So, but to answer that question in specific, although it will be addressed in the AIG, the on-course nutrition is Herbalife H24 hydrate product. It has 70 grams carbs in out of 100. It's 70 grams carbs. I mean, to answer your question in specific,
And the flavor, I think it's orange flavor.
it is going to be orange flavor. Yeah. Added sugar is 0. Yeah. But all of this in detail will be mentioned in the AIG. Next question. Where is the chat? I hope the chat didn't get cleared. Oh, it did. Anyway, a few questions. I completed the try. I completed the trial and completed it in a time gap of 7:45 to 8 hours. How smartly can I complete this in a? Okay, I mean, he's meaning to ask. He's completed one entire duration. I mean, entire course in 7 hours 45 to 8 hours. How can he race smartly so that he has a better day actually on the race day as opposed to what he managed to do in his sort of time trial?
See the conditions of how recent it was, even if it was a week back or 3 months back. I mean, for a minute, I'll assume it was a recent one. And the course would have been different. Maybe the swim was in a pool, maybe the cycling was through traffic, or maybe the run was there and the transitions could have been longer. Lots of other factors. But keeping all that aside, if recently you've gone through a full-fledged race in that sort of time, there's no reason for you to, aim for a time faster and harder than that. But do keep in mind the swim is not going to be in a swimming pool. There's not going to be lane ropes. It's on the open water, so there is chances where you will be you're going to take maybe a little more time, or maybe you're going to be faster given it's buoyant and seawater and things like that. On the cycling side, it's a completely closed course. To re-emphasize that, there is no traffic, so it's a completely closed road, hard barricaded. So, which means you can really focus on your performance and the race out there as opposed to wading through traffic. But at the same time, the course has inclines and few climbs. So, too many factors. But in terms of things for you to focus on, make sure you pace yourself well, make sure you take care of nutrition, and keep asking yourself, are you putting in the efforts which will help you last for at the 20K mark of the cycling leg? Your question would be, can I ride this pace, this effort for the next 70 kilometers? Right at the 30K mark, you're going to ask yourself, can I do this for 60 kilometers? And then the question one B to that question is, and can I get off the bike and run a good solid half marathon? Right. So at all points, that's how you're going to be evaluating and assessing, because uh, mm, if it gets windy, if it gets hot, you can't just determine that I can ride at an X amount of speed, right? So all you can ask yourself is that question. Look at certain metrics if you're comfortable looking at heart rate, looking at effort, and amount of effort you're putting in, right? So exertion. So I think those are going to be your metrics. In terms of overall things, yeah, pace yourself, take care of nutrition, and just stay focused on the final objective, which is to finish the race.
Yeah. Yeah, pacing is the key. A lot of times on the race day, I mean, from my own experience, with the amount of people that you have racing with you, at the start, you tend to get carried away and And it's in this general feeling of slight euphoria that you're doing such a big race, and obviously at the start you're going to be full of energy, but the second you take your eyes off or take your mind off the strategy that your coach or you yourself has chalked out for you of what's going to work out well for you, I think that's where it goes wrong. So
No, certainly agree with that, Neil. I think don't be put down by how many people pass you, or also don't get carried away if you're passing too many people. Both things can happen, and both things are fine, right? So you know what you can do, and you might finish the swim and come over to the transition, and you'll find there are a lot of bikes, which means you've done well. Now, if there are no bikes, then you've not done well. Don't let that do an assessment and start with that, right? So everything is very different. So I'm just giving you everybody just a few things to say. There are lots of times your mind can sort of put you down or give you the highs and the lows. See how you can maintain yourself. Pacing is just not about physical speed and pacing, right? Mentally, just pace yourself to know everything's working fine. You're doing your best. And if you find a low point, think about something positive, replace that with positive affirmations, see why there are a lot of people who've put hard work in addition to you to support you to be there. Think about the final goal and snap out of that low point very quickly. Otherwise, it can snowball into something.
yeah.
So yeah, please pay attention to all of those things because you're gonna be into that point maybe a few times during the day. Most important thing is how quickly can you snap out of it.
Yeah. We have a question. Can I wear full sleeve t-shirt for the event? Full.
Uh, Yep, you certainly can, but just be aware that it's going to make you more hot on things. But otherwise, there is nothing preventing us from that. Question specifically from a swim thing, maybe we'll have to park that. There is some restriction of what sleeve you wear, from what I know of. Even if you're wearing a skin, that's something maybe we'll have to come back. But if you're just referring to wearing a full-on t-shirt during your cycling or running, it's a personal choice. That's fine.
Sure. Uh, what will be the cycling route? At how many kilometers volunteers would be there to guide? I mean, through the route. I mean, if you don't need volunteers to ride the course that we have set for y'all. There is no way of anyone going off the course, because going off the course would mean one of our volunteers
Ah,
have removed a barricade and let you off the course. So there is no way, and we will have volunteers,
marshals.
a lot of volunteers at the aid station, but also a bunch of them through the course, certain sections which need you to slow down, or certain sections where you need to be a little more careful. We'll have volunteers at such sections also to make you aware of that. uh,
Correct. So at any point, if you're suddenly riding next to a bus or a car, which means you've gone off and there's something absolutely something wrong. Okay, so please pay attention to that. But it won't happen unless you really try really hard. But even with that, because it's really hard barricaded course,
yeah.
and as Neil said, there are volunteers on aid stations. There are volunteers on key points to tell you to make sure you slow down and things like that. But it is still your responsibility to know this is where you take a U-turn, this is where you take a left turn and things, right? So that is very important. Do not expect somebody to guide every person to say you're doing this and things. While there are general marshals across, it's important for you. And the course is not very complicated. If you take 5 to 10 minutes of studying the course, just understanding what happens and knowing some high level kilometers of what happens, not exactly at 3.8 or something. You pretty much to know you start from the transition area, go to the Dvija circle, you do a left, go to the causeway, come back, go to the highway, come back, go to the causeway, come back, go to the highway, come back to transition. Like I explained that to you in 10 seconds. That is how it is. Right. At that point, when you're riding on the highway, you can't be going too wrong with respect to directions and things, right? So please pay attention to that. And as much as it's a closed road traffic, pay attention to where you're riding. If you're on your aerobus, you're looking at front. You're not looking at your Garmin or your watch or whatever it is for too long, right? Occasionally glancing through what's happening is fine on your watch, but your focus is always on the road. You're watching for people passing. You're watching for things. If there's a lot of rain and water, make sure you're not, where you're riding, what is happening out there, turns. Pay attention to that.
Yeah. Bike transportation from Bangalore.
There are a few partners, vendors, service providers doing it. I think we've updated that on our website. I think on our Namaste India website. Uh, we can, not too sure if any other newsletter is on its way with that detail, but definitely out there on our website. We'll also try putting that again on our socials. Given it's 2 weeks from now, we will try our best to put it. So watch that. Check out our Namaste India section of the page on our Yoska and the event website. So that will give you some indications of what's happening in some of the cities.
Yeah. Is wetsuit allowed?
No, anything 24.5 and less is wetsuit illegal, which means you can't wear it. And usually the water temperature in Miramar is 29.5, which also makes it, you cannot use the wetsuit, mainly because it's just too hot in terms of it. It's not even safe. So in all likelihood, over the years, like Goa is a non-wetsuit race.
Yeah. The swim course map provided does not seem to have the distances mentioned.
That is correct, and that's also for a reason because some of those things, based on last few minutes of how the tide and the currents are, there will be changes. If I tell you it's 650 meters and you take a turn at 750 meters, there are not going to be too many happy people. And unlike a bike course and a run course where we can exactly place it, there are times where we feel if the currents or the tides are a little strong, there are small movements of that. As some of you who did the race last year remember, we want to make sure we put up the course which is the safest. And when I say easy, we're trying to make sure that you're not swimming against the currents during most portions. And since these sort of change closer to the course and the day, there are small movements around that. That's the reason. But broadly speaking, it's about 150 to 200 meters in, and then there is a triangle which is about 650, 500, 400, that sort of distances coming back. It's a one lap course. But you're going to turn where you're supposed to turn. You're not going to look at your Garmin and turn at 650 meters. But broadly speaking, those are the kind of the pointy ends of the triangle turns. Those are the distances for you to just get a feel of where you are.
Yeah. What is the distance to T1 after we complete the swim?
Longer than what we all would have liked to. So it's somewhere between what, 600, maybe around that. I don't know if it's around that, Neil. What is it?
Uh,
450, 500?
anything anywhere between, it'll end up anywhere between 550 to 650.
Correct.
Yeah, not more, not less than 550, not more than 650. What
Correct.
about jellyfish while swimming and precautions to take? Say one rosary and start.
Can't take too many precautions. We've done our best to sort of sweep the waters a bit and choose certain times of the day and all sorts of things. I mean, we don't have too many things. But look, there is vinegar, there is medical assistance on the course. There are also going to be lifeguards on the water, not just for the jellyfish and any stings, but in general, at any point of time, if you need help, put up your hand. Don't try to put both hands up and things, because just put up your hand and say you need help, or either you swim yourself towards a kayak or a paddleboard, stationary ones out there, people who are on that. Don't hold on to anything which is moving. Okay, it could be a jet ski, it could be a boat, it could be a kayak, right? Wait until it stops and then you can hold on, talk to the person, get help and assistance if necessary. So they will also have certain things to take care in case you get stuck. But yeah, nothing more as a precaution in terms of what you wear or what you can do and things. So yeah, for now, every year we've had certain things. Actually, last year on a Friday and a Saturday, they were more than actually on race day on Sunday. So yeah, it just is sort of luck of the draw, you can say that. But there is assistance out there if anything happens.
Yeah. Okay. How to overcome anxiety? Medical or non-medical way? What what answers are we expecting?
Yeah, I mean, look, the anxiety could be general race, first time I'm doing a lot of effort and things, or it could be specific to I'm not very comfortable swimming in open water, right? So, I mean, broadly speaking, I think it falls under those two things. Performance anxiety of have I trained enough? What can happen? If I can just maybe share my experiences, I mean, I've done a number of Ironmans, but you still have those things about what may happen. I think stop worrying about all the things which can go wrong. Okay. But do make a list to say if this goes wrong, this is what I will do. Right. If you get a flat tire, if you get a puncture, what do? You will fix it and you'll move on. Do you know how to fix it? Are you good at it? Are you taking less time? Are you taking more time? Now that's how you use whatever little fears, anxieties you have. Right. So use it. If it means you making a list, look at those and see this is how I fix it. All right. And so make sure you're packing everything in time and everything is nicely, you have some backups in place. You have all your nutrition. If a nutrition which you're usually used to doesn't work, what could be your plan B? So you just spend time thinking about it. Now that you know what your plan Bs are and how you will look at it, after that, stop worrying about it, right? Don't go to bed pre-race day thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Right? So, because you know you're well prepared. So, that's one way to just take a little bit of those nerves away. First few strokes of the swim, whether you have anxiety of open water or not, everybody's energy and things, I think it will settle down after a few strokes and then you're out there, right? That's something to do. If you're very anxious about open water and things, I mean, I'm hoping all of you have done few practice swims. Okay, that's very important to do. And at the same time, there is safety and things out there. Use that. Be aware of people around you. If you see someone in trouble, whether it's the swim, cycle, or run at any point of time, ask for help. You can help your fellow competitors, right? You can't take help from outside assistants and general spectators, but you can always take assistance from people, right? So if at all you see any of your fellow competitors out there in trouble or wanting it, please help them out. But coming specifically now to open water, look, I think it's very important that you've already done an open water swim of a certain distance before you show up. If you think you can't and not, I think it's important to recognize that and maybe, rethink whether you want to do the race. If it really is at that level, I can't obviously gauge that for everybody. That's very important. But otherwise, just make sure you think about all the things which you feel is causing that anxiety. Actually make a list. Don't just have a general view on that and look at how are you going to overcome that now that you're prepared. Stop worrying about it. It'll still creep in pre-race day, but it'll be a little lesser than maybe what it is today because you've actually spent time thinking about it now.
Yeah. I have not received any communication from the organizer. I have raised the ticket, also sent an email. I'm a part of a relay team. My teammates have been issued their bibs. Can I get mine on the race day? I think I I think what has happened in this case is, coach, I think the team captain has not sent them the invite to join the team.
Team.
I'm
Got it.
assuming, because unless that happens, he won't
You
get
won't be
any
able to.
invitation. So whoever sent us this question, just send the name and email address, or I mean, yeah, name and email address of the team captain. We'll guide the person, your team captain, to complete the steps to answer. I mean, to onboard you basically in the team.
Great. So any of you in this call, if you are a team captain, you should have sent an invite inviting one or two of your team relay members. I say one because in some cases maybe one of the person is doing a swim and a bike or some combination of that. If not, please make sure you've sent that invite and they've been added. That's very important because without all three people being at the same time to pick up your registrations, we are not going to give on behalf of the others Let me restate that. At any point of time, all three of you need to be there to sign physically a waiver and collect your registrations and bibs on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Please coordinate your travel, logistics, timings, showing up at the expo accordingly.
Yeah. 13th question is, how would you design a taper from today?
Little too early for taper, if you ask me. But yeah, everyone has different views. But I think the next 1 week you can still do some good long sessions, long, not like 3 hour, 4 hour rides or 20K runs types. But I think you can still do some of these individual swim, bike, and run sessions. But once again, look, I don't think it's the time and the place, not time because it's 2 weeks away for us to give some general advice. I think if the last few days, maybe, but you can still do some good solid sessions. But if you've missed a long ride and a long break session, maybe there's not the time to try to do it. I would still put in a few hours of overall week. This week won't be your biggest week, but it also not going to be your smallest week. I think that's going to be the following week. So I think you'll still ride anywhere 1 or 2 hour types and still run a few. But look, I'm sorry for sounding vague, but it's very hard to give based on what you've done and things. It's very hard to look at that. The taper, maybe you're part of the taper, but it's not like you're going to just run 4Ks and 5Ks from now on, right? You'll still be running some good solid amounts. But don't overdo it because your body takes a while to recover from key long big sessions. So please don't go do I don't know, a longish longish cycling ride and get off the bike and try to run 20 kilometers in the next week or something. No need for that. But you can still swim. Swimming is something you can continue to do a lot of it next week in case you feel that's your area. You can still do certain sessions in terms of pace and intensity. You can maybe, keep it at race pace than just doing easy ones. But please pay attention to sleep and rest and recovery and eating right and everything else also.
Yeah. Last year we had some cutoff for cycling running that we need to complete 70 kilometers mark on cycle by 12, 14 kilometers by 2 p.m. Do we have that kind of cutoff this year?
That is true. You have that. You have a swim is a 1 lap course. There's a cutoff time. Bike is a 2 lap course. There are cutoff times for the 1 lapper when you start the second lap or the certain portion of the second lap. The run you have same. I think you should be in a position to be starting the third lap of the run by a certain time. All of those details are present in the athlete information guide. They are relative to the 7 o'clock race start, but you will get an understanding that it is X hours into your race, right? So we assume the race starts at 7, but the last person to start the race is not 7. It could be 7:04 or 7:05 because it takes a few minutes for everybody to be into the water. And your time is your time. Your start time is not 7 o'clock. It could be 7:03 because that's the time you run past the swim start and the timing mat, and you will still get the prescribed amount of what we have put. So all that's been taken care, and the technical officials on the course will let you know in case you have missed the cutoff time. Please respect that. There's a reason for that with respect to your own safety because we need to comply with opening of the roads and getting the normal traffic through. I cannot do that until I get everybody safely off the course. Safely off the course could mean everybody finishing the race in this cutoff times, or people who have missed the cutoff time who then need to be told that unfortunately your day is over. We will need to get you off the course so that we can open up the traffic.
Yeah.
So please respect that. The team is the city, the traffic police, civil police, the government has given us a lot of support in closing down roads, and the community has been super supportive in navigating through alternate routes and longer routes and commute times just because the race is happening and they're so supportive. It's important for us to reciprocate that and respect those times. So I really request you to take care of that in the event if you reach that position at any point.
What has to be worn for swimming? Any restrictions?
You can wear a swimming costume, swimming trunks. You can wear a tri suit. Up to you. The restrictions are you can't wear wetsuits, you can't use paddles, snorkels, fins, those kind of things. You can't wear any flotation devices and things like that. But when it comes to an apparel and things, completely up to you. There is restriction of wetsuit. There's also restriction of the thickness of what you're wearing. So those things are present, but otherwise, no other restrictions.
Hope sleeveless tri suits are allowed.
Sleeveless tri suits are definitely allowed. There's no reason why it's not. Yep.
Is there a specific swimming costume requirement, length and style?
Now, style always works. Something to look you make you look good, but no restrictions on brand, type, cut, anything. As I said, the thickness of it is what really technically speaking. Anything which makes you go fast, makes you look good, go for it.
Basically, you just can't use neoprene material swimming suits. That's the only restriction. Otherwise, normal swimwear is fine.
Correct.
Can we put run bib on during the cycling part T1, or does it have to be after T2?
To T2 because purely for safety reasons. That's the likelihood of that getting tangled up and things. That's one of the reasons why we don't. Or you might be somebody who's already pinned it on your shirt, so technically there is no penalty for wearing it on the cycling one, but if possible, please don't wear it unless it's almost with safety pin and pinned onto your cycling jersey, and that's what it is. I understand the reasons why somebody would want to do that. That is fine. But if it's a bib belt or anything else, no, because it could slip off and things for cycling. So it's not a safe option. So please do make sure that you wear it only in T2.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the relay team members. The run portion of the team member is the one who needs to wear that particular bit.
What are the timings, please? Cutoff time and for each category. Repetitive.
Uh, I think we answered that. It's present in the athlete information guide, so please have a look at that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What if there is a flat tire? Will there be any help?
No. You need to fix it on your own. You need to fix it on your own. Please practice it. Well, you have 14 days or maybe 13 and a half days to go between now and race day. Practice that, get comfortable, carry spares and things. There will be a few bike mechanics and a few things at aid station, but those are only for certain tools or something majorly going wrong with your bike, which they may be able to help you with. But otherwise, you are not going to get assistance to fix your flat tires.
Yeah. There are some bad road conditions after the first steep uphill with four bumpers. Will that be repaired? Yeah, most of the major, I mean, sort of areas what require a bit of repair, we've identified, and once the rain settles down, we will be taking care of those patches of road.
Having said that, the roads are wide enough in areas where there are, so please pay attention. See where you're going. Don't be suddenly put off by a bit of things out there. It could be raining, you wouldn't know what it is. So pay attention to it and be aware of the road. While we will try to fix up everything out there, especially closer to some of those areas which has been identified.
Yeah. Practice swim timings with boys in the sea. Are there going to be?
No, there is no practice swim or things. It's a public beach. You're free to swim out there. But at the same time, please make sure that you have safety support, whether it is swimming in a group or somebody paying, helping you out. Please make sure of that. Doesn't matter how good or bad a swimmer you are. Please don't swim alone. Swim with a group. Make sure somebody on the beach side is at least keeping an eye out. Somebody is there in the water, especially if you're a first timer and things, a little more support. But even if you've done, doesn't matter how many Ironmans, please don't go swimming in the ocean alone. But there is no practice swim with scores laid out as such. right? So you can definitely do that in the lead up. There will be times where our team will be laying down the course, so please respect that part and try to not be in that section of the course while that's being laid out, in case that overlaps with when you are in the water.
Yeah. Is cycling route map going to be posted by email?
It's already on the course. It must have been, I mean, it has already been there for a number of months. So please refer to that. And just coming back to the swim part of it, as much as you are free to go swim out there, please respect the local community and things. There is a lot of fishermen, there are other things. So one, be aware of what's there in the water. And number two, if there are requests by them to stay away and swim in a certain portion, please respect them. They have been extremely supportive to us over the years in letting us not only lay down the course much earlier, but stay away from that whole area for a certain portion of Saturday and Sunday. And so, just like I spoke to you about the roads being closed and the community supporting us and the government, there is a huge set of stakeholders who have been supporting us for us to do the swim portion. So please pay attention to that and respect them. If you do get any particular notes and things from them while you're in Goa, trying to practice exactly where our swim is going to happen.
Yeah. Any guidance or tips for the relay teams?
Well, if you're the swimmer, make sure you found a good fast cyclist and a runner. But otherwise, look, there's a relay, there's a transition tent. You wait there. It's your responsibility to be at the right time when your fellow team member comes in, change of the chip, and then off you go. So just make sure the cyclist is taking care of what needs to be, checked in and things. So I would say small items like that. There is a section in the AIG about part. We will also be sharing certain videos of sort of the area and how to manage that. But otherwise, it's got more coordination between you and the team members to make sure once the swimmer is in the water, the cyclist, whoever is doing the cycling, it's his or her responsibility to be in the relay transition area, waiting area at the right time to collect, take the chip, and then go to the bike, right? So you need to make sure that the chip acts as the baton changeover. So just make sure of that and plan yourself well. Outside of that, I think the runner, for that matter, can come into the transition waiting area whenever he or she wants. It doesn't need to be at 7 in the morning. They get to sleep a bit more. So you can always come in, but you need to be there at the right time before your cyclist finishes.
Yeah.
Because the clock is ticking. I mean, if you're late, but it's a very long transition time if you're not there on time.
How do you get used to the salt in saltwater swim, basically?
It doesn't. I mean, it's a bit of annoyance, irritation, but believe me, there are bigger things you'll be worried about. I don't think it's a bit of skin thing or whatever on salt, but there are showers as soon as you come out of the swim after the long transition walk. You can sort of, just wash yourself off if that helps. But otherwise, yeah, you'll be all right.
If you get a puncture, what's the procedure?
You need to fix it yourself. You need to carry spares. You need to practice it. Same thing. Your responsibility. Nobody, no bike technical officials are going to help you on that.
Yeah. This one we've answered. Are electric pumps allowed to fill the tire? That's a first
Uh,
for you.
I've seen that being used. I've seen that used, but whether you can carry that, right? I mean, we'll have to park that. I'll have to come back. From what I know, it's fine. We will come back to you if it's not. Let me put it that way. Because the CO2 canisters and things are also being used from a number of years. I've seen a few people use that in other races. I think it's fine. If it's not, we will let you know much in advance, not while you're using it, obviously on race day, but we'll let you know in advance and we'll put that out there in the when we have the athlete Q&A. I'll make sure you put that. Utkarsh, Manav, if you're taking notes, just make sure you take this. We'll clarify that and make sure it goes out.
Do you recommend doing one loop of cycling few days before the race day when we travel to Goa?
You have 4 to 5 days before, yes, but traffic and things, please pay attention. If you just need to get a feel of it, maybe do some portion of it, because it's at the end of it, it's a highway and the roads are there. But yeah, otherwise you can still drive it around in the car to get a feel of it. Obviously, you can't do the loop back because you're going to be cycling and coming on that. I mean, you know what I mean in terms of that. But you can get a feel of it. But if you have time, definitely do ride, but stay safe out there. Remember, it's not a closed road like on race day, right? So just pay attention to it.
At the aid station, please provide water which is at room temperature. Okay, I mean, this is more like a suggestion, not a question. We will take a note of that, Mano and or Karsh, if you are making notes. Please share the swim route. Uh, will there be boys? I mean, I think he's meaning to ask where would there be boys across the swim route. So that would be updated. I mean, yeah.
It's updated, and just to answer that, there are turn buoys and there are sighting buoys. So the sighting buoys are of a certain color every X meters, so that you know that you're swimming in the right direction. Make sure you're always keeping it swimming anti-clockwise, right? So you're keeping it on your left. The turn buoys will be of a different color and of a different height. That's where you take turns. The turn buoys also you keep it on your left always, except the last one where you need to keep it on the right while you're coming back. All of this is mentioned out there on the swim course.
Yeah. Uh, Dr. Cyrus Mehta has apparently not got any email confirmation from our side. If you can just send your email address as well on the chat, we'll take a note of it and we'll reach out to you. Uh, can I do practice swim before the race day? I'm arriving on Thursday. Have done open water swimming just twice. Can, as in, how can I do it? Can I just go and swim, or do I need to take some permission?
It's a
So,
matter of just swimming a bit into the sea, that's fine, but please go with some support, go with somebody in terms of safety and things. It's a public beach, there is no permission needed, but I keep stressing back on the fact that take care of what's out there in the water. If there are other boats and fishermen and things, just make sure swimming away from those areas, and also paying attention to safety of making sure you have some support of somebody with you in the water, on the shore, both, not one or the other, as much as you can. Uh, um, Especially little more if you're a little new to it. But even if you are one of the best swimmers, please don't swim alone. Make sure you have support always.
yeah. Where do we get athlete information guidebook? It will be emailed to all the participants by tomorrow latest. How would waves for how will the waves for start? What will that be time based?
Yeah, it's a prediction based on what you think. If you think you're able to swim in 35 minutes or under, you will get a certain swim cap color which you will collect, which you've already nominated yourself during the registration time. And based on that, the fastest swimmers start first, and then so on and so forth, so that uh, slower swimmers don't impede the ones who are going through. One, it affects them, it also affects you because you're already, certain people are a little more anxious and have an anxiety of swimming in the open water. You don't want to be others swimming over you. So we make sure that it's self-seeded based on the swim cap colors. So please respect that, and make sure you do that. And at any point of time, you can always swim around people and things in the event somebody's out there.
Yeah. Uh, is there any pros or cons to parking the bike in the day or the evening? The day before, he means.
Understood. No, look, I think best to get it done, go back to your room, take rest and things. That's one thing. And that way you're also very clear that everything's done. It will be hot, and so just make sure you reduce a bit of your air pressure of the tires. If you're, it doesn't matter whether you're parking it at 11:30 or at 2 o'clock. I mean, in general, yeah, unless you're putting it after a very hot day, just make sure you put a little less tire pressure, and you can always pump it up back on race day morning where you will have access to transition. No other major advantages. I would say get it done, go back to your hotel room and take your time to settle down rather than trying to do things at the last minute. There are enough things on your mind. At least let's try to get one major thing off. You've checked in, your bike and other transition bags are things which you will going to be placing it on race day morning anyway.
Have the bibs been shared or will be shared or made available on the expo?
Bibs physically will be collected at the time of registration in the expo. Your bib numbers have been allocated. I think there will also be another email explaining to you to find out what your bib number is, but your bib numbers have been allocated, the number. But the actual bibs and things you will be collecting it on Friday at the expo or Saturday if you're landing up late.
Yeah. Do you get any support to carry bag? Wait 1 second. Let me redraft the question in my head. Okay. Basically, do you get any support to take your bike back if there's a major breakdown while cycling?
Yes, but not immediately. I say that because imagine it happens, if it's very unfortunate at the 5 kilometer mark to you or 20 kilometer mark to you, there is still a fair amount of people still doing it. We might have to park that and put that onto one of our support vehicles and then get you and the bike safely back. We may first work on getting you there and the bike is taken care and then comes later. But yes, in the unfortunate event that something like that happens, there will be support assistance vehicles out there. But because of the bike course being what it is, I cannot have all of these support vehicles driving past people when the race is fully live and active. It might need to be a little bit later portion of the bike, the day, while everyone's finished and about to finish.
Do we get transition bags, or I mean, it means to
We
us
will.
that we have to get transition bags, or will we provide?
We will provide them. You will be able to put them and place it near your bikes on race day morning. You can put whatever you need out there and keep it next to it. You will be getting specific bags. Only those can be used. You can't use your own bags. If you notice anything else outside of the transition bags, they'll be taken off. So please make sure you don't put anything out there.
Yeah, I have done Olympic distance and sprint distance. I wanted to know if T1 and T2 of Goa Ironman would be the same. It's my first time doing a Ironman 70.3 distance.
No, well done to you and to a lot of you people who are doing your first 70.3 or first sort of 70.3 in India or your first 70.3 itself. Congrats on putting in all the effort, and I look forward to seeing you and hosting you there. The T1 and T2 is at the same place. There are some races where T1 and T2 could be in different locations. Goa is not one of them. So you will swim, you will come to the bike, you'll pick up your bike, you'll cycle, you'll come back, put your bike exactly where you picked it, start running, finish line, medal, food, reward.
Can we exchange hydration bottles on the move on the bike leg at the aid station?
Exchange, not really. I think
Yes.
you can. I mean, I think I understand it.
On the
You
go.
need to make sure you dispose it before you reach so that you can pick it up. You don't have to refill your existing bottle. There will be freshly filled bottles. If you are, for whatever reason, very specific to stopping, refilling, or stopping and picking up a bottle, make sure you're giving enough attention and things, calling out that you are about to stop because people at the back don't think they are not expecting you to stop. They are just expecting you to grab the bottle and move on. Right. So just make sure you pay attention to that. You can stop and refill or pick a bottle, exchange, but make sure you dispose bottles before. By the time you reach, you don't have enough time to remove what you have, throw and take it. So you need to do that even before the aid station comes, but only at the littering zone. There will be a clear littering zone which will start just before the aid station. After that littering zone starts, you start disposing what you don't want, pick what you want, keep going. There will still be some portion of the litter zone after the aid station ends for you to dispose of anything if you've been eating a bar or a gel or a banana and things. Anything after that has penalties. So to answer your question, you can definitely pick water bottles, you can exchange, do all that. But I just wanted to emphasize the fact that if you're stopping, please call out and let people know very clearly, whether by hand signals that you're stopping or whatever it is, because they are not assuming you're stopping. And please slow down while you're picking these. As much as the volunteers are doing their best, there are more accidents in near aid stations than in any other places. So please pay attention, slow down.
How many how many places to pee? I'm doing the bike leg.
Uh, I think put loose arm at the aid station. So three
Three.
hits per lap.
3 times per lap. You get to pee 6 times while cycling. How many? Okay, that's one. Can you provide a route map for family and supporters to reach the venue of the race? Road closures is confusing and difficult for families to reach the venue on the race day to watch the race. Okay, families coming from Callangood. Uh, if you could just drop an email to us, the specific case, whoever has asked, we will get back to you with a specific route that you can possibly take on the race day to reach Miramar.
I think the general advice is please don't drive your own vehicle towards the race start. I think just make sure you park wherever it is and walk yourself closer to our race thing. That's number one, because there are a number of road closures which take effect as early morning. Roads don't close at 7 a.m. Now, my team is out there working through the night and putting things, and the roads have been closed. So please make sure you don't come driving around towards the race. So that is there. There are also certain shuttle buses which has been organized from what I'm aware of, right? So that you can use that if that helps you. But please park as wherever furthest you can, then walk your way towards. It is hard to move around once the race starts, so just plan appropriately and talk to your respective people where you're going to be there and at what times you're going to see them with respect to the number of times and the laps. And then make sure you're there out there closer to the finish line as the day progresses.
Yeah. Is there a WhatsApp group? No, we don't have an official WhatsApp group. When do we get the athlete information guide? It'll be sent by
Well,
via email by tomorrow. Can can we use bone conduction headphones? No, no types of earphone headphones.
any type of headphones for
Nothing.
that matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would there be speed breakers? So there are a few rumblers or sort of jumps that you will get while riding. Certain rumblers which are not very conducive to cycling would be taken care by us by covering them up like we've been doing last couple of years. But on the highway there is a section where you will come across one strip of rumblers which is quite manageable on the cycle, so you will have to be careful. Suggestions: can there be a
Like,
shamian
on
cover?
the causeway, I think there are a few small road humps, but that's something which is put through, and just people have to pay attention to it. There's one, I think.
That is correct. Suggestions: can there be a shamiana cover for bikes at least the day before when we hand over the bikes? Raj, unfortunately, Raj, we can't accommodate that request for various reasons. Can I carry a running backpack while cycling and running? I think it's the water hydration bag that he's referring to.
You're free to carry it, but look, there are aid stations. There's a lot of things we're taking care of. If that's not necessary, why make your day much harder than what it's already going to be? I would recommend not. But if you want to, we're not going to stop you from it. But no electronic devices, no listening devices and things. I just want to re-emphasize that with everybody. Swim, bike, and run all through. If you don't want to be disqualified and taken off the course in case we find you doing any of those.
Yeah. In 2023, the swim did not start based on swim cap color. Can that be implemented? It will be strictly
Yeah,
implemented this year. So
yeah.
I think, which is one last question on the. Can we drop our used gel packs on the way while riding, or do we drop them at specified places? If drop them in the middle, do we have penalty?
Yeah. You can't litter them. So if you have whatever you're wearing, whether it's a bike jersey or a tri suit, if it has a place to keep a gel, it also has a place to keep an empty gel. right? So that's what I mean. Or on your bike or wherever it is. Or if you're grabbing something and eating, which you found in the aid station, you have time to throw it just when the litter zone starts. There's a lot which the city and the community supports us. We want to leave the place better, or at least how we took that as part of our course. So please help us out there. There is penalties, but in addition to just being it a penalty, I think it goes a lot if you can actually take care of making sure that you use the right places where you can. You can always just stuff it back where it is and then dispose it later. I mean, I've finished a number of races where there's a lot more empty ones at the back than this, which means you've taken care of your nutrition and hydration pretty well, right? So you don't want to be. So please take care of that. Don't be in a rush to just throw it off. Please take care and do not litter.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Neil. Thanks to my team for organizing this and everything else which the team's been doing. So thanks once again for taking the time, folks. And we really appreciate the support we've been getting over the years. And thanks to all our partners, government, and everybody else. And we are 14 days away from the race day. Thanks in particular to Herbalife H24 for supporting us as our nutrition partner and facilitating these sessions and everything. Safe travels and train well. Don't overtrain. Take care of rest. And on race day, pace yourself. Take care of nutrition. Stay safe. And we'll see you out there. On race week. And thank you once again. You have a good evening ahead.
Yeah, thanks everyone.